Thank you, gentlemen. First leg, it's Joe to throw first. Game on.
I don't really know who's going to win this one. I think if someone was to ask me for a tip,
140.
I'd be thinking for a while.
The only thing that I would say is that Joe Cullen, so often we've seen him make the quarters and the semis of these European Tour events, and
96.
he'll have a poor game, and then he goes out of the tournament after playing brilliantly all the way through. Well, he's had a poor game, and somehow he's won it. So maybe he's got that out the way. He can get back to being Euro Tour Joe Cullen, where he averages 99 plus, sometimes 110. And maybe he can go and put things right and win his first European Tour.
Yeah, it was last year in Maastricht, wasn't it, when we started digging really deep to find out just how good Joe Cullen's been in the Euro Tour. And the statistics really shocked us, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, he's hit averages in excess of 107 on a dozen occasions, I believe it was. It's massive. And these, huge, huge displays, and he's done it on a regular basis.
His average was so high 90s. I couldn't believe it. But when you do have those 107 plus averages, it really does help.
57.
That's one of the reasons why Rob Cross is top of the averages this year, because he's had so many of those 105 pluses.
And he's produced 2 big averages already today. He is the top performer from the quarterfinals thus far. But Whitlock is looking at the bullseye.
190.
There it is. We went looking for it, and I didn't know where it was.
I'm surprised he missed it, because in the last game, I'm sure he hit something like 4 out of 4 or 5 out of 5 bullseyes. He didn't miss it.
Yeah, it was impressive, particularly towards the back end of his game with Ross Smith, because it was a tight affair.
Double 16 for Captain Whitlock. Gets it done.
Second leg is Simon to throw first.
Really good start.
Game on.
He's taking his time tonight. I mentioned earlier that he's not a spring chicken anymore. He's 50 years of age, and that his manager's 50 this week. He's just been out in Las Vegas having a bit of a celebration with Andy Jenkins.
Is there such a thing as a bit of a celebration with Andy Jenkins?
No,
it's all of the celebration, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the culmination of celebrations.
Yeah, Simon Whitlock, 50 years old, but said to me verbatim earlier on, there is loads more left in the tank. I've got so much more to give. He seemed to be under the mistaken impression that I'd said the other day that he should retire. I've said nothing of the sort. But I'm absolutely in awe of what Whitlock has managed to do over the last couple of years to get back to being in the world's top 10 when it genuinely looked like he was on the slide. There aren't many people who can do that, and he did it by going back to the basics, playing in local tournaments, in pubs all around Waterlooville, Hampshire, where he lives. And he got back in the swing of things. He got back into that winning mentality. And he had that incredible spell of winning 5 titles in as many months in the PDC. And things started happening. Got himself in the Premier League last year and
93.
European Championship final again. And he beat Joe Cullen in the semis in an absolute thriller. Went all the way to a last leg decider. He survived match darts, but he made the European Championship final again, Simon Whitlock.
171.
Well, for me, it's a Hall of Fame career. Simon Whitlock, he's been everywhere and done everything pretty much, apart from win a world title.
60.
But if you look at what he has won, and we'll come back to this in the next leg, it's very impressive. But what is impressive right now is how he's dealing with this situation. He's got a great chance here, and he's taking those chances. Now, he's gone around the world many, many times playing for Australia within the BDO system and the PDC system. But if you look at his list of championships, it's just fabulous to read. Just so many different names of places. Just pick out a couple of, random ones. He's got a Newcastle Classic in there, which is in Australia. Pacific Masters champion 3 times. He's won UK Open qualifiers, Pro Tours, European Tours. He's won European Championship. He's been to the final of all manner of things. He's won the Australian Grand Masters 4 times, the Australian Masters 4 times, Australian National Championships as well. It's an immense career.
Yeah, absolutely. And captained Australia to the final of the World Cup of Darts, as I recall.
137.
Yes, he did.
100.
Cullen can't quite get down to a finish. If Whitlock can produce another 3 big treble visit, or even 2, well, the opportunity passes him
60.
by. Cullen has started poorly in both his games so far, against Glenn Durrant and against Richie Edhouse. Against Glenn Durrant, he turned it around
74.
and played really good stuff in the back end of that match. Against Richie Edhouse, he didn't. He just carried on playing pretty dreadful stuff. It's just Richie Edhouse was marginally worse.
Just when you need to stay straight from 224, he goes treble 5, single 1.
36.
Yeah, Whitlock's averaged 93 for both of his games so far, seen off Christo Reyes and Ross Smith. And a shake of the head again from Joe Cullen.
86.
Does manage to rescue it with that last dart, and he is going to get his first darts at double in this game. And he's going to have to pin them, you feel.
He is now.
140.
It's happened a lot today with those flights flinging out from Whitlock. Double 16 for Joe. Now. Whitlock could be 3-0 up.
50.
That last 140 put all the pressure on and has given him a fabulous chance of being halfway to where he needs to be to make the semis. Tops.
30.
Chance gone.
So you require 8.
Well, he survived darts to go 3-0 down with 2 breaks to throw against Richie Edhouse and worked his way into the game. Double 4. Oh, surely he hits it from there.
4.
By going left on the oche there to try and open up the angle, it makes the throw probably about an inch longer. You need it to really force that one in. I think Whitlock is really surprised to have this second chance. He's taking his time up there, is Simon. He's usually a bit quicker than this. It doesn't matter how quick you are as long as you get it.
And he does, and it's another break of throw, and Simon Whitlock is taking control of this quarter-final. Only 2 times has Joe Cullen beaten Simon Whitlock. Both of them came on the European Tour, but the other 6 occasions they've met, Whitlock has emerged victorious, including when they met at the back end of last year, a 6-0 drubbing.
97.
Who can forget that game they had at the European Championships?
Oh, absolutely incredible. But once again, for the second time in 2018, Joe Cullen found himself with match darts to win a huge, big TV game and do something he'd not done before, and he was unable to take them. Missed out against Gary Anderson in the quarterfinals of the World Match Play, and missed out in the semi-finals of the European Championship against Simon Whitlock, and those misses haunt him. Had he hit either of those, or both, he'd have been playing Premier League ground.
Absolutely
Surely.
right, yeah.
96.
Wasn't it double 9 both times?
Double 18 and double 9 certainly for Gary Anderson. I cannot remember at the end of the Whitlock game.
I think
It
the
might
double
well have
9
been.
against Whitlock was a
97.
big miss. I'm sure it was an inch left.
170.
Don't leave double 9, Joe. Good counting from Simon there, because he loves 114, because he will go 19s first. Gets the 57, he goes single 17 tops. He gets the single, he stays on 19s for double 19. Right, now he's got to somehow find an angle. There it is, for double 19.
76.
Shanghai 19s doesn't go. It's 19s for Joe Cullen here. Another one in there for double 6.
120. Simon Uruguay 38.
Joe's not happy about something. You don't often see him shaking his head. What's going on up there? Let's see if we can find out in a minute. But it's going to be with a 4-0 deficit. He's looking at the floor.
It may be, is it a loose board or something? Is it?
Game on.
Look, Whitlock is a big fella. He went 6'4", And if there is a loose board somewhere, then it might be. What's it like up on stage? Can you notice sort of shiftings, or is it noises? What's the things that can put you off?
That one can. It happened to me twice. And you just got to get over it because there's nothing going to change mid-match.
121.
Funny enough, the one time, I think I played at the World Championships. It was before I played Benito van der Pas. I noticed that when I was putting my foot against the oche, that there was a bit of a squeaky board there. And I thought about addressing it with the stage guys, and I thought, no, it'll be fine. And when I got up there, it just disappeared. It's just one of those things sometimes.
Well, they're also the sort of things, they don't cause a problem when you're averaging 99 and leading, but when you're not playing well and you're 4-0 down and you're in danger of going out once again in a European tour where it looked like it was all set for you to go and make your first ever final, or at least there was a chance of you doing so, that's when it will start to annoy you more. Because there's a golf here. This is the best performance we've seen this weekend from Simon Whitlock.
150.
The same cannot be said for Joe Cullen's display here.
It was 150 at a European Championships where Simon Whitlock missed double 15 to knock out MVG. He's forcing Cullen to take this 1-3-4. He went for the 54 and 2 tops. Just not going Joe's way this evening. Whitlock's on another doable 2-darter. He's going to leave tops again. And there it is. It's right in the middle. 5-0 Whitlock. Said at the beginning of the game I couldn't call it. Well, definitely wouldn't have predicted this.
Well, Simon Whitlock, so often, there was a long spell when Whitlock in the European Tour, it was just synonymous with Whitlock being in semi-finals and finals. Obviously, he has won one. It's a surprise, actually, they didn't win more in that time.
100
As Joe Cullen finally puts in his first maximum. It's only his second score, over a ton 40 in the match. But last year, we saw him back on those Euro Tour stages doing what he does best, made a couple of finals, and he backed that up at the European Championship. He loves these European stages. He's massively popular over here, and he seems energised. He seems energised after a dreadful start to the year in his floor form.
Well, everybody needs a catalyst at some point. You go through phases of
57.
loving the game, and sometimes you can despise the game because of what it does to you. But one thing that's never changed with Simon is his genuine enjoyment for playing darts.
He lives and breathes it. Absolutely lives and breathes it. Darts is Whitlock's life. And, you know, the stuff that he's, the equipment he's using, those points, oh dear,
27.
which didn't quite work there, he's actually knocked them up at home in his mad Professor Whitlock antics.
56.
He's got some more of those whiz hex points that are actually longer as well, that he's got all set up ready to use. He hasn't used them yet.
Watch this space. He'll probably have them next week.
139.
You've got to feel Joe's going to get his first leg here. Double 16. That's more like it.
Right, he's still being put off, and he's laughing it off.
Game on.
And Whitlock's just not engaging with it.
No, he's not. He's moving really slowly on that stage, as Simon.
100.
He's completely oblivious to what Joe's thinking about the floor.
123.
I remember one time, played my first European Championships, 2009. We're in a place in Holland. I think I remember the name of it. Hofdorp.
Okay.
And I lost to Colin Osborne, and I was a bit naive back then. I was a bit of a greenhorn.
100.
And the carpet was very plush. And every time I walked on the carpet, my shoes were moving. I thought, is this what the carpets are like on stage?
92.
They use very fine ply on the carpets for these. But back then, it was a bit more plush. And I couldn't get used to it.
And that just
Threw me.
completely.
Absolutely.
It's tiny little things, isn't it? But look, Joe Cullen has got an immense amount of experience on the European tour. And this exact stage transported all around Germany.
140.
But it has not helped him out tonight. And unless this 164 goes, and it's not going to, then Simon Whitlock is going to get a chance to win the match.
190.
Final 2 darts in this championship, maybe 2 bullseyes. It's gone the northy route. It is up north.
60.
Not enough up north.
45.
Double 16. Double 8 to stay alive.
37.
And it's more of the same, unfortunately, for Joe Cullen. It is a tame exit from the German Darts Grand Prix for him because Simon Whitlock is through to the semi-finals. Not much of a handshake from the rock star, evidently not happy with how that game panned out.